Said you don't need those Trump voters.
Well, you asked me if I needed them to win.
So you don't
I
think
feel like this is unnecessarily argumentative. What is your question?
The question is the same thing I asked everybody, that this is being called the empowering voters to stop Trump's power grab. Every other candidate has answered this question. This is not
correct. And I said I support it.
So, and the question is, what do you say to the 40% of voters who voted for Trump?
Oh, I'm happy to say that. It's the do you need them to win part that I don't understand. I'm happy to answer the question as you have it written, and I'll answer it.
And we've also asked the other candidates, do you think you need any of those 40% of California voters to win? And you're saying, no, you don't.
No, I'm saying I'm going to try to win every vote I can. And what I'm saying to you is that...
Well, to those voters, okay, so you...
I don't want to keep doing this. I'm going to call it. Okay. Thank you.
You're not going to do the interview with us?
Nope, not like this. I'm not. Not with 7 follow-ups to every single question you ask.
Every other candidate has answered our
follow-ups. I don't care. I want to have a pleasant, positive conversation in which you ask me about every issue on this list. And if every question you're going to make up a follow-up question, then we're never going to get there.
Ms.
And
Porter,
we're just going to circle around.
I am an investigative
I have never
reporter.
had to do this before, ever.
You've never had to have a conversation with
to end
a
an
reporter?
interview.
Okay, but every other candidate has done this.
What part of I'm me? I'm running for governor because I'm a leader. So I am going to make...
So you're not going to answer questions from reporters? Okay, why don't we go through? I will continue to ask follow-up questions because that's my job as a journalist, but I will go through and ask these, and if you don't want to answer, you don't want to answer. So nearly every legislative...
I don't want to have an unhappy experience with you, and I don't want this all on camera.
I don't want to have an unhappy experience with you either. I would love to continue to ask these questions so that we can show our viewers what every candidate feels about every one of these issues that they care about. And redistricting is a massive issue. We're going to do an entire story just on the responses to that question. And I've asked everybody the same follow-up.
Illuminati is a thing you need to watch out for. They want to depopulate and slave us so much more. World domination, I'll get into that later. I'm hardcore, fierce and sexy. You're just a hater. You deserve the ridicule because you're an absolute zero. I'm the keeper of the chalice, a rock and roll hero. I'm not an idiot nobody listens to because I'm not a failure in life like you. Let's talk about the gates and the mark of the beast and the orgies in the streets at the Catholic feasts and Bill and Hillary's human trafficking ring. And George Soros got the money to pay for everything. Socialism is for losers, working for the devil, chumps that can't fight, they ain't on my level. It takes an evil one to try to debunk and doubt it, so I'd rather die than stop talking about it. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out for the Illuminati.
Yeah. Tell me this is a liberal bloc without telling me this is a liberal bloc. Look, Ukraine flag, BLM, and this huge, gigantic freaking banner for Zoran Mamdani. Talk about a whole bunch of wood chipper candidates, all in one bushel right here.
Okay, this is Puff, and I am MC Too Tall, your hardcore, fierce, and sexy host of the MC Too Tall show, which you just so happen to be watching right about now. First things first, I want to get this off my shoulders and let you know because I wouldn't be able to live with the guilt of not telling you. I have a gig this Sunday. That's exactly 2 days from now, October 12th, Sunday, October 12th, 2025. The show starts at noon, ends until about 6 o'clock. It's 6 hours of good, clean fun. And yours truly, MC Tutor, will be appearing with real live musicians. People that actually know what they're doing with a musical instrument in hand, unlike yours truly. But I can rap, so I'm going to be shouting obscenities at an adoring crowd and calling them song lyrics. I'll be billing with Brian Dillon's latest project, The Surgical Six. Also appearing will be one of my favorite all-time bands, Black Death, and The Good Yegs, featuring former members of another band I used to love and adore called Baby Daddy. And it's going to be a beautiful night. There's going to be some chilling and grilling going on at the Yoa Club. That'll be 850 62nd Street. That's 850 62nd Street in beautiful Brooklyn, New York. And just bring the whole family, because it will be a fun for the whole family kind of event. As again, I shout obscenities at an adoring crowd, calling them song lyrics. Now let's get to this story, shall we? Ha ha ha! Katie Porter. A lot of people had no idea who Katie Porter was until about a few days ago. An interview came out, it leaked out that she was doing for CBS Investigates. And the nice lady doing the interview was interviewing all 12 Democrat candidates for governor of California. So whoever wins this office essentially will be replacing greasy Gavin Newsom. And one of those candidates happens to be this porky lady named Katie Porter. And she seemed very defensive and very triggered by these softball questions, as you saw at the beginning of this video. And she even got handsy. She's like, this is a confrontational question. This feels very combative. What is your question? What is your question? What is your question? And so, yeah, she was very defensive on the softball questions of what do you say to those people that surprisingly high 40% of Californians who voted for Donald Trump. Now think about this. Donald Trump ran against a Californian, former Attorney General, former Senator, and at the time incumbent Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris, who I affectionately like to call Kamala Harris. She was California, and 40% of her state, 40% of her state voted for Donald Trump. That's nearly half the people from her home state that voted for Donald Trump. And this report is saying, what do you say to those 40% of Californians that voted for Donald Trump, that don't want whatever kind of woke bullshit you're trying to bring into the state? She didn't say it in so many words because she's on CBS there, but she's trying to say she doesn't need the vote. She's like, I don't care if you vote for me. In other words, I don't give a shit if you like me or not. I'm gonna become governor anyway and do all the shit you don't want me to do anyway. So fuck you. That's the attitude. When you say I don't need the votes of the people that don't want me to be governor, you're essentially telling 40% of your state, fuck you. I don't know how else to put that. And so that's pretty much the message. I can't see how else it could be interpreted in any other way, certainly not in any nicer way. And here we are, dealing with people like this. These are the people who are heirs of the throne of Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom has his Silly Nilly podcast. And my thing is this. What's going to happen when this nasty fat bitch gets on his podcast? Because you know he's going to start putting... I mean, he's in tune with things. He's in tune with doing things for the machine of the New World Order, which is the Democrat Party. And so, you know he's going to start putting Democrat candidates for his current seat on his stupid Silly Nilly podcast. And what's going to happen when she appears on there? What is she going to... Is she going to trash him? And when she trashes him, that will be the end of her political career forever. Matter of fact, she should not have a political career now. I don't have the video on hand, but it's out there on YouTube, where she's doing some kind of a Zoom call, and one of her masked staff members is in the background. Of course, she makes them masks up. She makes them mask up. And she even fired one of these staff members for supposedly giving her COVID, which is stupid. That's stupid and irresponsible for her to fire somebody for giving her some silly-nilly COVID, which she probably didn't even give her. So she masked up everybody. And there's a masked staff person in the background, and she's cursing them out, saying, "You're in my fucking view," or some shit like that. And it's disgusting. It's a disgusting display of power. It is a disgusting abuse of power. And so many levels of hell where belong the left. Then there's other incidents that are not caught on camera. Apparently, she had a baldy husband, and she used to take advantage of her baldy husband by abusing his exposed scalp all the time, smacking him off the head, and one time even dumping a piping hot bowl of mashed potatoes on his head because he supposedly did not season it right. Not enough paprika. Gotta put paprika in your mashed potatoes, or else your wife will dump the whole damn thing on your head. And this is what happens when you allow women to start punching, abusing men, and dumping bowls of mashed potatoes on their heads. They think they have the right to run for governor of California. See where it starts, folks. See where it starts. You give them an inch, these liberals, and they want to take a mile. So many levels of hell, I tell you. So many levels of hell. This person has the goal to run for governor of California. And when she is over there wanting to stop the interview, I would say you're absolutely right. You are unworthy of my company. You are unworthy of the governorship of even the state of California. And this is a shithole, ma'am. I will agree with you on that. It is a shithole. And it's a shithole because of people like you, Katie Porter. That's what I would have said if I was that dumb blonde broad, whatever the hell her name is. But there you go, man. There you go. The freaking lefties are going loony again, getting all combative over softball questions. The most benign, harmless questions out there. And very good questions. Very softball questions, but actually good questions that people have a genuine concern about. And she didn't want to answer them. She did not want to answer them. And she's calling herself a leader. A leader that's afraid to answer simple questions like that. And as I said, this woman's not even combative like the legacy media usually is to Republican leaders, especially Donald Trump. People are seeing it. Now, I don't expect California to turn red tomorrow. I do believe New York is more likely to turn red than California. But learning that 40% of that state, that's nearly half the state, they voted for Donald Trump against an incumbent vice president who was from that state. That has to tell you something. That has to tell you that the tides are changing, the pendulum is swinging the other way, and normal people, normal God-fearing First and Second Amendment loving people, aren't going to take the woke shit anymore. The woke shit is winding down, suffocating, and will be plummeting to its own demise very soon. We're done with that shit. We are all suffering from woke fatigue, and we are going to put it to a stop. And yes, there may even be some retribution for that. Speaking of which, they're now calling these indictments on Letitia James retribution. So she's been officially indicted. And it looks like she will lose in court and get convicted of what she's indicted of. She will not be found not guilty. And if found guilty, there could be some jail time. Same thing for James Comey, former FBI director. And I sure hope these people start going to jail. Because you need these people to go to jail so that the next people that come up that have in mind what these people did to do themselves, they're not going to do it. They're going to see the consequence of what happens when you do what James Comey did, when you do what Letitia James did. No one is above the law. No one is above the law. And I will not be surprised if they throw the book at Adam Schiff. Some of these people are going to have to suffer. They're going to have to be put in these orange jumpsuits, cuffed, and landed behind bars. Even if it's a mere 6-year sentence or whatever. Speaking of which, 8 years for trying to kill Brett Kavanaugh is a slap on the wrist. But this is what happens when you have woke judges that despise Donald Trump and his Supreme Court justice picks. But either way, Katie Porter should drop out of the governor's race for California. And if she doesn't drop out, it'll be a huge surprise to me if she wins, considering 40% of the country voted against fellow Californian who also happened to be at the time incumbent Vice President of the United States. And voted for her Republican opponent, who is the single greatest president of the 21st century, Donald Trump. He's for God and country. He truly, truly is for God and country. I got rehearsal tonight. I got to prepare for this gig that I mentioned at the beginning of the video. And let me remind you of that again. Noon to 6, MC Tutor live with a live, delightful array of musicians behind me. 850 62nd Street at the Yoa Club. You might see it on your Googles there as SC Yoa. 850 62nd Street in beautiful Brooklyn, New York. High noon until 6 p.m. Okay, so I will see you there very, very soon, this Sunday. And remember, respect God, watch out for the Illuminati, like, follow, share, comment, subscribe, stay strong, keep kicking that slang. It's your boy in the building, hip-hop legend, recording engineer, underground rock and roll hero, your hardcore, fierce, and sexy host that is never gross, MC Too Tall. See you Sunday, yeah?